We got some pretty heavy winds today. There's a hurricane coming up the coast. What better opportunity than now to talk about the weather? Now I know what you're probably thinking. You're probably thinking, weather? Ugh, that's so boring. And trust me, I get it. As a man over the age of 30, I get more than enough talk about the weather. Hey dude. Oh, it's Matt. Hey, what's up dude? Yeah, so glad you guys could make it. Hey, what's up, Bob? I'm so glad you and the fam finally made it over. We've been really trying to get this going for a long time. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having us over. How have you guys been? Yeah, we've been doing well, you know, just the usual stuff. Nothing too new. What about you guys? What's up with you? Yeah, we're doing great. I mean, it's great. Things are really good. Yeah, good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that temperature really starting to go up this weekend. Not gonna do it. Don't worry though, this isn't that. I'm gonna tell you about the weather stuff you want to know if you're thinking about living in Greenville, and I'll do my very best to make it not boring. Can I promise that? No. If you're wondering who I am and what makes me an expert about the weather in Greenville, the first answer is Matt, and the second answer is nothing. I'm a real estate agent in Greenville, South Carolina, and I make these videos because they're fun and hopefully they're helpful. If you ever want to reach out to me to buy or sell a home, you can do that on my website. It's also linked in the description below. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the weather. When it comes to choosing a place to live, I think there's probably only really two things you're interested to know about the weather. One, we want to know what our seasonal weather is going to be like. And two, we want to know if there's any severe weather we should be aware of. We'll start with seasonal. I hope I'm doing this right. If you're planning to move to Greenville and you'd like to have a conversation about the weather of the seasons, you only need to remember this sentence. I love the weather here because there are 4 distinct seasons. That's a phrase people love to say about Greenville. It's true of a lot of places in the world, but it is also true here. Right now, I'm gonna run you through exactly what that seasonal weather would look like, starting with winter. Brrr. The winter weather here in Greenville is gonna start roughly in November and go through February. Now, I know some of you out there are going, hold on a second, that's not winter. The weather changes here don't always line up perfectly with the seasons, and since this video is about weather and not the calendar, I'm gonna go with those. So, starting in November, things are gonna cool down and it's gonna be pretty cold through February. When I say pretty cold, I don't really mean that cold. A lot of people move to Greenville from various places north in the country to escape the harsh winter weather of yonder ways. Winters here are very mild. In the coldest months, December and January, the average lows tend to be around 35 degrees. So for a lot of you people, I'm sure that's laughable. You're probably wearing shorts. But around here, that's cold. If you're trying to get away from the snow, here in Greenville, South Carolina, we average only about 4 inches per year. Because we don't get very much snow here, a little bit of snow is a big deal for us. A lot of things shut down. See a couple snowflakes falling outside your window? You might just go ahead and cancel your plans for the next day or two because you're gonna be on a snow break. Moving right along now, it's springtime. For all you outdoorsy people out there, springtime is prime time. The weather starts to warm up, the leaves are coming back, the flowers are blooming, and you're gonna spend your whole day outside if you want to. If you're lucky, you're gonna get about 2 months between March and May when the weather is just extremely comfortable. You could stay outside all day comfortably if you wanted to. You toss on a light jacket in the morning. By the afternoon, you'll have that thing taken off. Evening time, you toss it back on. You'll be comfortable all day. That's a whole day affair. Go on a 400-mile hike if you want. You're gonna feel good. Springtime weather is awesome. I would be remiss not to mention that while the weather in springtime is great, you will have to get used to having everything in your life covered with pollen like this. For those of you out there with allergies, you're definitely gonna wanna have some antihistamines at the ready. For those of you who didn't have allergies before moving to Greenville, South Carolina, that must have been nice. You do now. After spring comes summer. Now things are starting to heat up. The hot summer season in the Greenville area starts around May and runs all the way through September. It's the longest weather season of the year, lasting about 4 months. That's okay though, because there's lots of fun things to do. You can head to the water parks, hit the community pools, go to the lakes, spend lots of time out in the water, and you'll definitely want to because the temperatures are hot. Rain showers are also common in the summertime here, but they're usually pretty short. The average temperature in the hottest month of the year, which is July, is around 90. Now that's hot, but it's not crazy, right? We're not talking Arizona temperatures. What can make summertime particularly uncomfortable in some situations is the #1 weather complaint you will hear in South Carolina and much of the Southeast, which is, it's just like The air is thick out here today. Why am I so sticky? I can't even get a breath in, it's so thick. Did it rain this morning? It's just muggy. Must have rained this morning. It had to have rained this morning. It's been literally 1 second, I'm already sweating. I can't stop sweating. Why is it so hot? I don't get it. It's humidity. The humidity is high. That's the complaint. But if you can get past that, you'll have lots of fun-filled summer activity. Now, to the final season of the year, fall, or as some folks call it, autumn. From late September through October and maybe even early November, you have my personal favorite weather season of the year. That's fall, and it's incredible. Fall is awesome. Break out the flannels because you're in orange spring. That's the normal seasonal weather you can expect in Greenville, South Carolina. But what about the other stuff? What about those home-destroying natural disasters of weather that you might experience in certain areas of the country? Like personally, a beach house sounds wonderful until you realize that every 10 years it's going to get wiped off the face of the earth by a giant hurricane. Well, in Greenville, South Carolina, I've got good news for you. You probably don't have to worry too much about things like that. To help ease your nerves even further, I'm going to start by going over things you have little to no chance of experiencing if you live in Greenville. Things like blizzards, earthquakes, avalanches, dust storms, volcanoes, wildfires, landslides, and ever running out of people who want to talk about college football. I know a lot of people love it, but I don't care. So far, it doesn't sound too bad. But what should you be worried about? Well, there are a few things that might come your way if you live in Greenville, and let's go over those next. Probably the #1 severe weather risk in the Greenville, South Carolina area is tornadoes. They don't cause an immense amount of property damage annually in this area, but they are more common than the rest of the United States as a whole, so be aware of that. The next type of severe weather to be aware of are thunderstorms and hail. Now, I think most people are probably pretty familiar with these from around the country, but they do happen here. Hailstorms can cause damage to your property, your houses, your roofs, and your cars, and thunderstorms can potentially lead to flooding. And finally, the third type of severe weather to be aware of in this part of South Carolina, and the inspiration for this lovely video, is hurricanes. South Carolina is located on the East Coast, and that means when hurricanes do make their way up the coast, we do experience some potential damage from those. Luckily for you, if you're thinking of moving to Greenville, we are located pretty far inland from the coast in the very corner of South Carolina. Because we're so far away from the coast, we still can get heavy wind and rain when hurricanes come through, but the overall hurricane risk is still considered to be low, and that's nice. And there you have it, folks. Overall, the weather in Greenville is pretty great. You get lots of sun, not a lot of disasters, and plenty of variety. If you have more questions about weather or Greenville or anything, leave me a comment below, or you can reach out on my website. I'd love to hear what you have to say and see if I can help you find some answers. Until then, I'll see you next time.